What is up, football fans? Big Al here. It's Friday, October 30th, 2020, and we are continuing our Week 8 NFL preview with the remaining 13 games on the schedule. That means the entire Sunday afternoon slate. The Sunday night tilt in the NFC East pitting the Cowboys and Eagles, and then Monday night's showdown with the Buccaneers and the Giants. All right, I gave you my pick on the Atlanta-Carolina game yesterday. I won't tell you my result until we do the Week 8 review, and that's coming up on Tuesday, so come back then for that. But for now, let's get on with the rest of the Week 8 preview, starting off with the Sunday afternoon games. The Indianapolis Colts, with a 4-2 record, traveled to Detroit to face the 3-3 Lions Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern on CBS. The announcers will be Andrew Catalon, James Lofton, and sideline reports from Michael Grady. The current point spread as of 12 p.m. Pacific time Friday is Indianapolis minus 2.5. And the over-under is set at 50 points. All right, looking at the offenses for both teams. The Colts are number 19 in total offense in the NFL at 363.2 yards per game. The Lions are 23rd at 354.2. As for passing yards, Indianapolis 265.2 per game. That's number 10. Detroit is 20th at 245.7. Both are in the bottom half of the league in rushing. The Lions are towards the middle. They're at 108.5 yards per game. That's number 18. Indianapolis is at 98 yards per game, putting them at 28th. As for scoring, they're both pretty close. The Indianapolis Colts average 26.2 points a game, putting them at number 14. The Lions are at 26 points a game. That's 15th. And then average time of possession is 29 minutes, 34 seconds for the Lions. That's 21st. 30 minutes and 51 seconds for the Indianapolis Colts, tying them with the LA Rams for 10th. All right. Across the board, the Colts have the better defense than the Lions. Total yards, Indianapolis allows 288 yards per game. That's number 2, behind only the Steelers. The Lions are near the bottom. They're at 380.5 yards per game, putting them 22nd. The Colts also have the number 2 defense against the pass, giving up 199.7 yards a game, while the Lions are 20th at 248.7. And the Colts, 88.3 rushing yards per game. That's number 3 in the NFL. Detroit is at 131.8, putting them at 26th. And then in points per game, the Colts allowed 19.2 points a game. That puts them at number 4. And the Lions are at 27.5. That's number 20. As far as third down offense is concerned, both are in the bottom 10. Indianapolis is at 39.19%. Detroit, 38.16%. The Colts are 23rd in third down offense. The Lions are 26th. Fourth down offense, the Lions are at 75%. They are tied with 4 other teams for 7th. The Colts are a little bit further down on this list, 62.5%. That puts them at number 17. Third down defense. Colts are middle of the pack at 40.51%. That's 15th. Detroit ranks 24th at 48.65%. And in fourth down defense, the Lions are at 55.56%. They are tied with San Francisco and Washington for 16th. Indianapolis is at 75%, tied with Jacksonville for 23rd. I'm taking the Colts to win this game 24-14. I think their defense can shut down just about anyone, and I have them covering the 2.5 points easily. All right, our next game is the Las Vegas Raiders, 3-3, traveling to the Cleveland Browns at 5-2. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Your broadcast announcers will be Kevin Kugler and Chris Spielman, with sideline reports from Laura Oakman. Browns are favored by 2.5 points as of 12 noon Pacific time Friday. Over-under is set at 50.5. All right, taking a look at the offenses for both teams. The Raiders are at 390.7 yards per game. That's number 9. The Browns, 364.4. That puts them at number 18. Looking at passing yards, the Cleveland Browns are towards the bottom at 207.4. That's 27th. Vegas, meanwhile, as soon as I can find them, here they are. They're 277.2. That's number 7. Rushing yards, let's see. Rushing yards on both teams. The Cleveland Browns are number 3 in the league, averaging 157 yards per game. While Vegas, where are you, Vegas? Okay, I see them. 113.5. That is 17th. And then points per game. Cleveland averages 28.6 points per game. That's number 10. Las Vegas just a shade below them at number 11. They average 28.5. Average time of possession is 31 minutes, 49 seconds for Las Vegas. That's number 5. 30 minutes, 10 seconds for Cleveland, number 16. On defense, the Browns allow an average of 380.3 yards a game. That's number 21 in the NFL. Vegas is at 403.7, putting them at number 26. The Browns, very weak against the pass. In fact, both of these teams are weak against the pass. The Vegas Raiders allow 283.8 yards per game. That's 28th in the league. The Browns allow 288.1, which is number 30. But the Browns' run defense is solid. 92.1 rushing yards allowed. That's number 5. Whereas the Raiders allow 119.8, putting them at number 15. And points allowed per game, you have the Las Vegas Raiders surrendering 32.8 points a game. That's number 31 in the NFL, ahead of only the Dallas Cowboys. The Browns, not much better. They allow 31.6 points per game. That's 29th. Third down conversions offensively, Vegas is one of the best. They're at 50%, tied with Green Bay for 4th. Cleveland is just about middle of the pack in this category at 41.98%, putting them at 20th. Fourth down conversions on offense, Las Vegas is one of the best. They're at 75%. They are tied with Miami, Detroit, Tennessee, and the New York Giants for 7th and 4th down offense. Cleveland Browns are 28th at 30%. Third down conversions on defense, the Las Vegas Raiders are at 50%. That's number 26. Cleveland Browns 47.06%, number 21. And in fourth down defense, the Las Vegas Raiders are at 66.67%. Fourth downs on defense, tying them with Chicago and Tennessee for 20th. Cleveland's at 91.67%. They are number 30. I have the Browns winning this game 30-24, and I also have them covering the 2.5 points. All right, next up is the Los Angeles Rams entering Sunday with a 5-2 record. They're off to South Beach to face the Miami Dolphins at 3-3. And Tua Tagovailoa has been named the starter for the Dolphins. So this will be his NFL debut as a starter. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. Announcers are Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Shannon Spake. Current line is LA minus 3.5. Over under is set at 46. Let's take a look at the offenses of both teams. The Rams are number 10 in total yards at 385.7. The Dolphins are 22nd at 354.3. All right, passing yards per game, both are in the middle. The Dolphins are 17th at 249.2 yards per game. The Rams are 18th, right behind them at 246.9. The Rams can run the ball. They average 138.9 rushing yards a game. That's number 7. Miami's at 105.2, which ranks them 22nd. And as for points per game, the Dolphins average 26.7 points per game. That's number 12. The LA Rams are at 25.1. They are tied with the Dallas Cowboys for 18th. Average time of possession, 31 minutes, 27 seconds for Miami. That's number 6. And 30 minutes, 51 seconds for the LA Rams. That puts them 11th. On defense, the Rams give up 312.9 yards per game. That's number 6. Miami allows 360.2, which is 16th. Passing yards allowed, LA gives up 212.4 per game. That's number 5. While the Dolphins allow an even 236, also putting them 16th in that category. Against the run, the LA Rams allow 100.4 yards per game. That's number 7. While the Dolphins are 19th against the run, surrendering 124.2. And both of these teams are near the top as far as scoring defense is concerned. The LA Rams are number 2 in the league at 17.7 points allowed per game, trailing only Baltimore. While Miami is number 3 at 18.8 points allowed. Third down conversions on offense. The LA Rams are at 44.57%, putting them number 11. Miami is at an even 40%. That's number 22. Fourth down conversions offensively. Miami is at 75%. They are tied with 4 other teams for 7th. The LA Rams are towards the bottom. They're at 50%, tied with Minnesota for 23rd. Third down conversions on defense. Both are solid. The Miami Dolphins lead the NFL in third down defense at 31.34%. LA is number 4 at 34.48%. And both are also solid on fourth down defense as well. Miami surrenders 30% on fourth down. That's number 3. The Rams are 7th at 38.46%. I think Tua's going to have a welcome to the NFL type game. As that Rams defensive front is so ferocious. Led by Aaron Donald. They're going to get after Tua all afternoon. Give me LA in this one, 27-20. And I got the Rams covering the 3.5. Off we go now to the NFC North. The 1-5 Green Bay Packers travel to Lambeau Field to face the 5-1 Packers. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The announcers are Kevin Burkhardt, Daryl DeMoose Johnson, and Palmoliver. Current spread as of 12 p.m. Pacific Time Friday is Green Bay minus 6.5. Over under is set at 51. All right, looking at the tail of the tape in this matchup, starting with the offense. The Green Bay Packers are at 393.7 yards per game. That puts them at number 8. Minnesota's 374.2, which is number 14. As far as passing yards are concerned, the Packers are towards the middle of the pack at 261.5 yards per game. That's number 14. Minnesota, 235 passing yards a game. That's 22nd. Rushing yards, both are in the top 10. Minnesota's at 139.2 rushing yards per game. That is number 6. Green Bay cracks the top 10 at 132.2. Green Bay Packers come in as the second highest scoring team on average in the NFL, scoring 32.8 points per game. They trail only Seattle. Minnesota is in the middle of this statistic at 25.8 points per game. They are number 17. Average time of possession, Green Bay is at 32.58. That's 32 minutes, 58 seconds. They are number 2 in average time of possession, trailing only Pittsburgh. Minnesota is near the bottom at 27 minutes, 26 seconds. That's 29th in average time of possession. Only the Jets, Cowboys, and Texans have a lower average time of possession than the Minnesota Vikings. All right. Defensively, the Green Bay Packers allow 350.3 yards per game. That puts them at number 11. The Vikings are near the bottom at 413.7 yards per game. That's number 28. Both teams are in the bottom half of the league in passing yards allowed. Green Bay gives up 240.3 yards. That's number 18. Minnesota is 286.7, putting them at number 29. As for rush yards allowed, the Green Bay Packers surrenders just 110 per game. That's number 12. The Vikings allow 127, which is 22nd. And then as far as points per game allowed, both are in the bottom half of this category as well. The Green Bay Packers rank 19th at 26.5 points allowed per game. The Vikings at 32 points a game, putting them at number 30, ahead of only Las Vegas and Dallas. Third down conversions on offense, the Packers are at 50%, tied with Las Vegas for number 4 in the league. The Vikings are at 37.7%, putting them at number 28. Fourth down conversions on offense. The Green Bay Packers are at 57.14%. They are tied with Carolina and Kansas City for 18th. Minnesota's at 50%, tied with the LA Rams for 23rd. Third down conversions on defense. This is one area where the Vikings are good. 33.8% on third downs defensively. That's number 3 in the NFL, trailing only Miami and Chicago. Green Bay is at 41.79% third down defense. That's number 17. And in fourth down defense, the Packers 37.5%. That is number 6. And the Minnesota Vikings, one of the worst fourth down defenses in football, 81.82%. That's number 27. I'm taking the Packers here 34-17. And I've got them covering the 6.5 points. Although this is a divisional matchup, that could possibly change. Here's another divisional matchup. The New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. New England is 2-4. Buffalo is 5-2. This game will be on CBS Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time with the announcers Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and sideline reporter Evan Washburn. Current spread as of 12 noon Pacific Time is Buffalo minus 3.5. Over-under is at 41. Taking a look at the offenses for both the Patriots and Bills. Buffalo is 13th in the league in total yards at 376.7. New England is at 352.2 yards per game, putting them at number 24. The Bills are still among the league leaders in passing yards at 279.7. That's number 6. New England is in the bottom 5 in passing yards, 197.2, putting them at number 28. As for rushing, the New England Patriots at 155 yards per game, that's number 4. Buffalo averages 97 rushing yards per game, that is 29th. And then the points scored, both are in the bottom half of the league. Buffalo averages 24.9 points a game, that's number 20. The Patriots average 19.2 points a game, which is number 29. Average time of possession is 30 minutes and 47 seconds for the Bills. That's number 13. 29 minutes, 48 seconds for the Patriots, putting them at number 20. On defense, the Buffalo Bills allow 359.3 yards a game. That puts them at number 15. The Patriots average 1 yard more at 360.3. That puts them at 17th. All right, as for passing yards allowed, both are in the top half. New England allows 228.2 passing yards per game. That's number 11. Buffalo 232.6. Put them at number 15. Passing yards, or we just looked at passing yards. We're looking at rushing yards now. And neither team is all that great against the run. The Bills allow 126.7 yards per game on the ground. That's number 21. Patriots give up 132.2, which is number 27. And as for points scored, Buffalo gives up 25.4 points per game. That puts them at number 15. The Patriots are slightly better than them at 23.8 points per game, number 12. All right, third down conversions on offense. The Buffalo Bills at 52.38% puts them number 2 in the NFL behind New Orleans. While the Patriots are near the bottom, they're at 38.81%. That's number 24. Fourth down conversions on offense. The Bills are the best in the league. They're the only one who has hit every single fourth down attempt. 100%. New England's not too shabby themselves. They're at 71.43% conversions on fourth down, putting them at number 12. Third down conversions defensively, the Patriots at 37.7%. That's number 9. While the Buffalo Bills are near the bottom at 50.63%, putting them at number 30. Only Carolina and Tampa Bay has a worse defense on third down than the Bills. And in the fourth down defense, New England still number 1, still hasn't allowed an opponent to even attempt a fourth down, so they're still at 0%. Buffalo is also in the top 10 in this category, 42.86%. They are tied with Tampa Bay for 10th. Now, Bill Belichick has owned the Buffalo Bills as the Patriots head coach. I think he's won something like 24 games against the Bills. Something crazy. I think the tide's starting to change. I'm taking the Bills here, 27-17. I am not trusting this Patriots team at all. And I got Buffalo covering the 3.5 points. All right. That brings us to our mismatch of the week. The 0-7 New York Jets traveling to Arrowhead Stadium to face Patrick Mahomes and the defending Super Bowl champions, the 6-1 Kansas City Chiefs. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. The announcers for this game are Kevin Harlan and Trent Green. Melanie Collins is the sideline reporter. And this is the biggest point spread on the board, not just in Week 8, but so far in 2020. As of 12 p.m. Pacific Time Friday, Kansas City was a 19.5 point favorite. So they're at minus 19.5, and the over-under is set at 49 points. Now, I said this was the mismatch of the week. Listen to these offensive and defensive numbers. All right, we'll start with the Kansas City Chiefs first. They averaged 398.3 yards of offense per game. That's number 7. They are 12th in the league in passing yards at 263.6. And number 9 in rushing at 134.7 yards per game. The Chiefs' offense averaged 31.1 points per game. That is number 5. And average time of possession is near the middle of the league at 29 minutes, 51 seconds. That's 19th. The New York Jets' offense, on the other hand, yeah, they're terrible. The New York Jets averaged 264.3 yards per game, 159.9 passing yards per game, and they scored 12.1 points per game. They ranked dead last in all 3 categories. They averaged 104.4 rushing yards per game. That's number 23, so they're still in the bottom 10 in rushing. Average time of possession is 27 minutes and 7 seconds. That's number 30. Only Dallas and Houston, on average, has possessed the ball less than the Jets. That brings us to the defense. All right, the Kansas City Chiefs allowed 361.6 yards defensively per game. That's number 18. The New York Jets are at 385 yards per game, which is 23rd. As far as passing yards are concerned, this is a mismatch. Kansas City allows 211.7, putting them at number 4. New York is at 259.4, putting them at number 24. All right, rush yards allowed. The Chiefs give up 149.9 yards per game. That's number 30. So this is probably the only stat in where the Jets are better, because they're at 125.6 yards per game, putting them at number 20. So if you're the Jets, I think you need to run the football if you're going to beat the Chiefs. So even that's going to be tough. All right. As far as scoring is concerned, Kansas City gives up 20.4 points per game, putting them at number 9. The Jets allow 29 points per game. They're tied with New Orleans for 24th. All right, third down conversions on offense. Kansas City Chiefs are at 48.86%, putting them at number 6. The Jets are dead last in third down conversions on offense, 29.79%. Terrible. Fourth down conversions offensively, both are in the bottom half of the league. Kansas City's at 57.14%. They're tied with both Carolina and Green Bay for 18th. The Jets are at 18.18%. That's number 30. Only the San Francisco 49ers and the Denver Broncos have a worse fourth down offense than the Jets. All right, third down conversions on defense. And it looks like this is another stat in which the Jets are better than the Chiefs. New York is at 39.51% on third down defense. That's number 12. Kansas City's at 41.67%, putting them at number 16. So right in the middle. And in fourth down conversions on defense, the Chiefs are at 54.55%. That's number 15. New York Jets are at 100%. They are tied with Carolina for 31st. Three words for you: Chiefs will win. Give me the Chiefs 44-10, and they will cover that college-style 19.5-point spread. Moving on to our game of the week. And once again, it involves the Pittsburgh Steelers, the league's lone undefeated team. They take their 6-0 record to M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, where they will face Lamar Jackson and the 5-1 Ravens. Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Broadcast team will be Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, with sideline reports from Tracy Wolfson. Baltimore is favored in this game by 3.5 points as of 12 noon Friday. Over-under set at 46.5. All right, tell it a tape, starting with the offense. Not exactly offensive juggernauts, the Steelers and Ravens. Pittsburgh averages 358.7 yards per game, putting them at number 21 in the NFL. Baltimore, not much better, 342.2 yards per game, that's 27th. As far as passing yards go, they're also in the bottom 10 of the league. Steelers average 229 passing yards a game, that's 23rd. Baltimore is at 177.8, which is 31st. Only the New York Football Jets average fewer passing yards than the Ravens. But both teams can run the ball. The Baltimore Ravens are the top rushing attack in the National Football League at 164.3 yards per game. The Steelers are at 129.7 yards per game, which is 11th. And the two teams are both in the top 10 in scoring. The Steelers average 30.5 points per game, putting them at number 6. The Ravens are at 29.8 points per game. That's number 8. Average time of possession is a league best 33 minutes and 55 seconds for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, that puts them at number 1. The Ravens are towards the middle at 30 minutes, 21 seconds. They're at number 15. So we know that both teams have pretty potent run games. And both teams are pretty good on defense as well. In fact, the Pittsburgh Steelers average 286.3 yards per game allowed. That's number 1 in the NFL, 286.3. The Ravens are 9th in total defense at 339.8. As far as passing yards, the Steelers are 6th in the league at 217.5 yards allowed per game. Baltimore is 14th at 230.8. Both teams are very stingy against the run. So this is like your classic something's gotta give matchup. The Steelers allow 68.8 yards per game on the ground. That's number 2 in the NFL, trailing only Tampa Bay. Baltimore is at 109 yards rushing allowed, tied with Denver for 10th. And both teams do not allow a lot of points. The Baltimore Ravens, in fact, lead the NFL in scoring defense at 17.3 points per game. The Steelers are at 19.7 points allowed per game, putting them at number 6. All right. Third down conversions on offense. The Steelers, one of the top teams, 51.09%. That's number 3, trailing only New Orleans and Buffalo. The Ravens are just shy of the middle of the league at 42.11%. That's number 19. Fourth down conversions on offense, the Steelers also third in the league at 85.71%. In fact, they are tied with Arizona for third. And they trail only Buffalo and Cincinnati. Baltimore converts 66.67% on fourth down. They're tied with New Orleans and Houston for 13th. Third down conversions defense. The Ravens are at 34.67%. That's number 6. The Steelers, 41.98%. That's number 18. And both of these teams are in the top 5 in fourth down defense. Pittsburgh at 12.5%. That's number 2. Baltimore at 33.3%, tied with Cincinnati for 4th. Man. This, I will not lie to you, this was a tough game to pick. I mean, both offenses are not all that flashy as far as total yards and passing yards are concerned. But both teams can run the ball well, and both teams can stop the ball well. But I still think that the Steelers have that slight advantage defensively over the Ravens. Therefore, I'm taking Pittsburgh to win this game 26-20, and I also have them covering the 3.5 points as the road underdog. And then the final game on the Sunday afternoon slate, well, the early portion of it anyway, is the 5-1 Tennessee Titans visiting the 1-5-1 Cincinnati Bengals. That's Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Broadcast team will be Spero Dedes and Adam Archuleta. The current point spread as of 12 noon Pacific time Friday was Tennessee minus 6.5, over under set at 52.5. Now to the tell of the tape. Taking a look at the offensive numbers first for both teams. The Tennessee Titans, 401.3 yards on average per game. That's number 5 in the NFL. Tennessee is 16th in passing yards at 256.2. And they're number 5 in rushing at 145.2. So they have an elite ground attack led by Derrick Henry. And they can score. The Tennessee Titans average 31.3 points per game, putting them at number 4. And average time of possession is near the bottom. They're at 28 minutes and 21 seconds. That is number 26. Then you got the Cincinnati Bengals led by rookie quarterback Joe Burrow. They average 361.1 yards per game. That's number 20. Passing yards, they're at 262.3. That's number 13. Good, not great. Rushing yards, that's been a big problem with them, even though Joe Mixon is their featured back. They average 98.9 rushing yards per game, putting them at number 26. As far as points are concerned, the Bengals average just 23.3 points per game. They are tied with Philadelphia for 23rd. And average time of possession is among the best for the Cincinnati Bengals. 32 minutes and 16 seconds. That puts them number 4 in the league. All right, tell it a tape on defense. The Cincinnati Bengals are number 24 in total yards allowed at 395.1. Tennessee, a spot below them at number 25 at 401.8. All right. Passing yards, 261.4 pass yards allowed by the Bengals. That's number 25. 272 passing yards allowed by Tennessee. That's number 26. As far as defense against the run, the advantage here would go to the Tennessee Titans. They average 129.8 yards per game, which is number 23. Cincinnati is 28th at 133.7. As far as scoring defense, the Cincinnati Bengals average 27.7 points a game. That's number 21. And the Tennessee Titans allow 25.5 points a game. They're tied with Denver for 16th. All right. Take a look at third down conversions on offense. Tennessee is in the top 10, 46.58%. In fact, that puts them at number 10. The Bengals average 38.78% on third down conversions this year. They are 25th. Fourth down conversions offensively, Cincinnati is at 91.67%. That is number 2 in the league, trailing only Buffalo. Tennessee is at 75%. They are tied with Detroit, Las Vegas, Miami, and the New York Giants for 7th. Fourth down conversions on offense. Third down conversions defense. The Bengals do give up a lot of third downs. They average 47.73% on third down defense. That's 22nd. Tennessee is the worst third down defense in the NFL at 60.98%. So let's just go ahead and call that 61%. The Bengals are one of the top fourth down defenses in football at 33.33%. They are tied with the Ravens for 4th, while the Tennessee Titans are at 66.67%, tying them with both Chicago and Las Vegas for 20th. I think the Titans will be going into this game with a bit of a chip on their shoulder. I mean that they played very well against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but came out with the loss. But I think they'll get back into the win column this week. Although, how Joe Burrow's been playing and how Cincinnati can put up points, it's not going to be easy. So I got the Titans to win 27-23. However, I got Cincinnati as the home underdog covering the 6.5. Now to the late games. We got a battle for the AFC West basement as the Los Angeles Chargers take on the Denver Broncos in the Mile High City. Both teams coming in with 2-4 records. This game will air Sunday at 4:05 Eastern on CBS. The announcers are Greg Gumbel and Rich Gannon with sideline reports from Jay Feely. Point spread as of 12 noon Pacific time Friday is LA -3. Over-under is at 44. Now to the tell of the tape. Starting with the offense. The LA Chargers, number 4 in total yards at 405.8. Denver is near the bottom at 322.8, putting them at number 28. The Chargers are also one of the top passing teams in the league, 281.3 passing yards per game, putting them at number 5. While the Denver Broncos are also near the bottom at 209.2, that's 26th. And to rushing yards, the LA Chargers are 13th in the league at 124.5. The Broncos just a few spots below them in 16th at 113.7. So from a yard standpoint, the Chargers are the better offense. And same can be said from a points standpoint as well. LA averages 24.8 points per game, putting them at number 21. Denver's at 19.3 points a game, which is number 28. Average time of possession is 31 minutes 20 seconds for the LA Chargers. That is number 7 in the league. The Broncos are at 30 minutes 23 seconds, putting them at number 14. All right, tell of the tape on defense. All right, the Los Angeles Chargers allow 366.2 yards per game. That is number 20. No, that's not number 20. In fact, that's actually number 19. And for as bad as the Broncos have looked, they have a top 10 defense. Well, with Vic Fangio being your defensive coordinator, that's pretty much the case. The Broncos average 339.2 yards allowed per game. That is number 8 in the NFL. All right. Pass yards allowed. The Broncos hold the advantage here. 230.2 yards allowed per game. That is number 13th. While the Chargers are at 253.2. That's 23rd. All right, and then rush yards allowed also favor the Broncos. Denver averages 109 yards rushing allowed per game, tied with Baltimore for 10th. The Chargers are not too far behind them at 113 yards rushing allowed per game. That is number 14. And as far as points are concerned, the Denver Broncos average 25.5 points allowed per game. That ties them with Tennessee for 16th. The Chargers not too far behind the Broncos at 25.7 points allowed per game, number 18. All right, third down conversions on offense. Third down conversions on offense. The LA Chargers are one of the best at 47.06%. That's number 7. Denver, on the other hand, is one of the worst. 35.9%. That's 29th. Only the Bears, Seahawks, and Jets have a worse third down conversion percentage on offense than the Broncos. Well, we can tell you that the Denver Broncos has not attempted a fourth down play, so they're at 0%. No completions, no attempts, 0%. The Los Angeles Chargers are at 33.33%. That's 27th. So don't expect a lot of gambling in this game. Third down conversions defense. The Broncos are an elite squad. 34.52% on third down defense. That is number 5 in the NFL. While the Chargers are at 39.02%, putting them at number 11. So both teams under 40% as far as third down defense. That's good. All right, fourth down defense. LA Chargers are at 40%. They are tied with Atlanta for 8th. Denver is at 50%, tied with both Philadelphia and Seattle for 12th. So the loser of this game will be in sole possession of last place in the AFC West. And this is going to be a battle. I think the Chargers can go into Denver and knock off the Broncos 23-21. And I also have the home underdog Broncos covering the 3 points. So this is going to be a drag 'em out fight between these two division rivals. All right, next game up. The 4-2 New Orleans Saints, fresh off of last Sunday's win over Carolina. Jets setting the Soldier Field to face Nick Foles and the 5-2 Chicago Bears, coming off of Monday night's loss at the hands of the LA Rams. This game is Sunday at 4:25 Eastern on Fox. Your broadcast team will be Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, and sideline reporter Aaron Andrews. Point spread as of 12 noon Friday Pacific time is New Orleans -5. Over-under is 43.5. Now to the tale of the tape, starting with the offense. Alright, so the New Orleans Saints are number 11 in total yards at 384.5. The Chicago Bears are 29th at 308. Passing yards. Saints average 265.7 per game. That's number 9. The Bears 223.9, which is 25th. Rushing yards. The Saints are at 118.8, putting them at number 14. And the Chicago Bears, a league worst 84.1 rushing yards per game. And in point scoring, New Orleans averages a cool 30 points a game, putting them at number 7. The Bears are at 19.7 points a game, putting them at number 27. Average time of possession is 30 minutes, 50 seconds for New Orleans. That's number 12. 30 minutes, 6 seconds for Chicago, putting them number 18. Tell of the tape, defense. The Saints allow 328.3 yards per game. That's number 7. Chicago, 342 yards allowed per game. That's 10th. So both these teams, as far as yards go, are top 10. Passing yards allowed. The Bears give up just 222.1 yards per game. That's number 8. The Saints are a little further down at 238.7, number 17. As for rushing yards allowed, the Saints give up just 89.7 yards a game. That's number 4. While Chicago allows 119.9, putting them at number 16. And in points, the Bears give up 20 points a game, which is number 7. The Saints give up 29. They are tied with the Jets for 24th. All right, third down conversions on offense. The Saints lead the league at 55%. While the Bears are third from the bottom, 35.11%. That's number 30. Fourth down conversions on offense. The Saints are at 66.67%. Tied with Baltimore and Houston for 13th. The Bears are at 44.44%. That's 25th. Third down defense. Chicago's at 31.68%. That's second in the NFL behind Miami. While New Orleans has one of the worst defenses on third down, 50.62%. That's number 29. And in fourth down defense, the Chicago Bears are at 66.67%, tied with Tennessee and Las Vegas for 20th. New Orleans is at 77.78%, tied with Houston for 25th. Now, as we saw Monday night, this Bears defense can be exposed, and Jared Goff did expose this Bears defense. And I think having to face another solid quarterback in Drew Brees, I think Chicago's D will be exposed once again. Give me New Orleans to win this game 31-17, and I also have them covering the 5 points. So yes, give me the Saints going. Give me the Saints outright and give me the points. All right. The last Sunday afternoon game is the San Francisco 49ers 4-3 at the Seattle Seahawks 5-1. Last Sunday, the 49ers waltzed into Foxborough and ran roughshod on the New England Patriots, winning 33-6, handing Bill Belichick his worst home loss in Foxborough as the Patriots coach. Meanwhile, the Seahawks did something that we haven't seen from them in about 9 years, and that's losing a one-score game, as they were up 10 points with 2.5 minutes left against the Arizona Cardinals, and then ultimately lost in overtime, which knocked them from the unbeaten ranks. This is Sunday at 4:25 Eastern on Fox. The broadcast team will be Adam Amin, Mark Schlereth, and sideline reporter Lindsay Czarniak. Point spread as of 12 p.m. Friday is Seattle -3, over under 53.5. Now to the tell of the tape, starting with the offense for both teams. Look at the visiting 49ers first. They are number 12 in total yards at 382.6. 21st in passing yards at 244.9. 8th in rushing yards at 137.7. They are number 16 in points scored at 25.9 per game. And their average time of possession of 32 minutes and 55 seconds is third in the league, trailing only Pittsburgh and Green Bay. All right, the Seattle Seahawks are number 1 in the NFL in total yards at 425.2. And they're also number 1 in the NFL in points, averaging 33.8 points per game. Seattle averages 295.7 passing yards per game. That is number 2 in the league, trailing only Dallas. And they are 12th in rushing at 129.5. Their average time of possession is towards the bottom, however, averaging 29 minutes, 10 seconds per game. That is 23rd. All right, let's take a look at the defense, starting off with the visiting 49ers. They are number 5 in total yards, the San Francisco 49ers, at 309.6. Number 3 in passing yards allowed at 203.3. They are 9th in rushing yards allowed at 106.3. And their 19.4 points allowed per game puts them at number 5. And they are 2nd in the NFC, trailing only the division rival Los Angeles Rams. As for the Seattle Seahawks, defense really isn't their strong suit. They allow a league worst 479.2 yards of offense and a league worst 368.7 passing yards. So they are number 32 in both those categories. They are pretty good against the run, though. They average 110.5 rush yards allowed. That is number 13. And in points, they give up 28.7 points a game, putting them at number 23. Let's take a look at third down conversions on offense. The 49ers are 43.04%. That is number 16. Seattle is 33.9%. That is number 31, ahead of only the Jets. Fourth down conversions offense, Seattle is one of the best, 83.33%. That's number 5. While San Francisco is one of the worst fourth down offenses at 16.67%. So of teams that has attempted at least one fourth down play, the 49ers are the worst. Denver's at 0%. That's because they haven't attempted a fourth down or converted one either. Third down conversions defense. San Francisco's at 35.80%. This puts them at number 7. And Seattle is at 48.75%, ranking them number 25. Fourth down conversions defense. The Seattle Seahawks are at 50%, tied with both Denver and Philadelphia for 12th. 49ers are slightly below them at 55.56%. They are tied with both Detroit and Washington for 16th. These are... I don't think the 49ers are going to blow Seattle out of the water like they did in the NFC Championship game. But this is going to be another fun game between these two. I got Seattle with the home field winning 27-23 and covering the 3 points. I think the basis for that is the Niners are still dealing with a bunch of injuries. Mostert's not playing. I think they're down to their third string running back now. But yeah, San Francisco has a bunch of injuries, but they didn't let that deter them when they just waltz all over the Patriots. They'll try to go to that similar game plan on Sunday, but I think Seattle's going to be just too tough for them. And I have the Hawks winning this game, but don't get me wrong. The Niners will get their yards. I don't think they'll have enough offense, however, to slow down Russell Wilson. All right, that brings us to Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football is an NFC Eastern Division battle, or an NFC Leastern Division battle, if you will. The 2-5 Dallas Cowboys, who were just mauled in DC last week by the Washington Football Team, they jump on the 95 and travel to Lincoln Financial Field to face the current division leaders of what is the worst division in football. And that's the 2-4-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Philly, of course, coming off of the Thursday night win in Week 6, or rather in Week 7, against the New York Giants. One they shouldn't have won, in my opinion, as an Eagles fan. Just saying. This is Sunday at 8:20 Eastern on NBC. The announcers, of course, will be Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. Sideline reports from Michelle Tafoya. Now, this point spread as of 11 a.m. Pacific time Friday was at 10 points. But as of 12 noon, that number has since gone up to Philadelphia minus 10.5, and the over-under is 43. Now, speaking of teams with injuries, both the Cowboys and Eagles have a bunch of injuries. Obviously, Dak Prescott's out for the year after the ankle injury he suffered a couple weeks back. Andy Dalton, he's not going to play in this game because he suffered a concussion in the loss to the Washington Football Team. So Dallas will be starting their third-string rookie quarterback, Ben DiNucci. See how that turns out for them. The Eagles are pretty banged up too. I don't think that Zach Ertz will play in this game. Zach Ertz, I know, will not play in this game. I'm not sure about Miles Sanders, whether he'll go. If not, Boston Scott will be plugged in again as the starting running back. But yeah, both these teams have injury concerns. But I think Philadelphia is starting to get healthy. Dallas, however, their starting quarterback is out for the season. Their backup quarterback is out for a bit with that concussion. So now you're putting the keys to the castle in the hands of a third string rookie. Good luck. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape offensively for both teams. Dallas, who had been the number one offense in the NFL for pretty much the entire season up until last week, where they only put up 142 yards against Washington. They are now third in the league in total yards at 418. They still lead the league in passing yards, though at 316.1, but I think that lead is starting to dwindle. Cowboys are 24th in rushing at 101.9 yards per game. And as far as scoring goes, they average 25.1 points per game, tying them with the LA Rams for 18th. Average time of possession is 27 minutes and 2 seconds. That's 31st in the NFL. The only team that averages a lower time of possession per game also plays in Texas. That's the Houston Texans. All right, the Philadelphia Eagles offense averages 345.4 yards per game. That's number 25 in the NFL. They're number 24 in passing yards at 226.9. They're at 118.6 rush yards per game. That's 15th. And they're 23.3 points per game, ties Cincinnati for 23rd. Average time of possessions in even 29 minutes, which is 24th. So that's the tell of the tape on offense. Here's the tell of the tape on defense. The Eagles averaged 350.9 total yards on defense. That's number 12 in the NFL. They give up just 220.4 passing yards per game. That's 7th. This time last year, passing defense was one of their weaknesses. And rushing defense was one of their strong suits. The Eagles are at 130.4 rush yards allowed per game. That's number 24. And they allow 28 points a game, which is 20 seconds. Then you got the Dallas Cowboys. They average 408.1 yards allowed per game. That is number 27. 229.9 passing yards allowed per game. That's number 12. They allow 178.3 rushing yards per game and 34.7 points per game. Both number 32 in the NFL. That's probably why Vegas has that point spread so high. Third down conversions on offense. Both are in the middle of the league. The Philadelphia Eagles are 15th at 43.43%. Dallas is 17th at 42.53%. Fourth down conversions offense. Both teams are towards the bottom of the league. 53.85% third or fourth down offense for the Cowboys. That's 22nd. 36.36% fourth down offense for the Eagles. That's 26th. Third down conversions defense. The Philadelphia Eagles are at 42.11%, putting them 19th. Dallas is at 50.51%. That's 27th. And in fourth down defense, Philadelphia Eagles are at 50%. They are tied with both Seattle and Denver for 12th. Dallas is at 83.33% on fourth down defense. That's number 28. For now, I do have the Eagles winning. Don't get me wrong. I got Philly winning this game 26-13, but it all depends on how Dallas's quarterback plays. So that score may change. I do, however, do have Philadelphia covering the 10.5 points. And we'll wrap this up with Monday Night Football. The 3-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or rather, that should be the 4-2. No, I read that wrong. That is the 5-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They travel to MetLife Stadium to face Danny Dimes and the 1-6 New York Football Giants. Monday, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Your announcers are Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, and Louis Riddick. Sideline reporter is Lisa Salters. Point spread as of 12 p.m. Pacific Time Friday is Tampa Bay minus 12.5. Over under is at 45. Now to the tape with the two offenses, starting with the Buccaneers. They are 15th in total yards at 371.9. Number 8 in passing yards at 266.1. 19th in rushing yards at 105.7. They are number 3 in points scored at 31.7 points per game, trailing only Seattle and Green Bay. And their average time of possession, which is 30 minutes and 7 seconds, puts them 17th. Then you got the New York Giants, who are just terrible across the board on offense. They average 282.4 yards per game, which is 31st. Only their MetLife Stadium cohorts, the Jets, have fewer offensive yards than the Giants. New York has 184.3 passing yards per game, or they average 184.3 passing yards a game. That's number 30, beating out only Baltimore and the Jets. They also have a tough time running the ball. They average 98.1 yards per game. That's 27th. They average 17.4 points per game, which is 31st. Ahead of only, you guessed it, the Jets. And average time of possession is 27 minutes, 39 seconds. That is 28th. Only 4 other teams, including the Jets, average a lower time of possession than the Giants. Now to tell the tape on defense. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers give up 291.3 yards per game. That's number 3, trailing only Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. So this gives the Buccaneers the top defense as far as total yards in the NFC. They are number 9 in passing yards allowed at 225.3. Their 66 rushing yards per game allowed is number 1 in the league. And their 20.3 points per game is number 8. Whereas the New York Giants, they have a decent defense. It's not as great as the Buccaneers defense. The Giants allow 356.3 yards a game, which is number 14. 251.3 passing yards per game, which is 21st. 105 rushing yards per game, that's number 8. So they're in the elite class there. And they give up 24.9 points a game, putting them at number 14. All right. Third down conversions on offense. Let's see. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 13th in the league at 43.82%. The New York Giants are 18th at 42.35%. Fourth down offense. Tampa Bay's an even 80%. That's number 6. Giants are at 75%. Tied with Miami, Las Vegas, Tennessee, and Detroit for 7th. Third down conversions, defense. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 38.89% allowed. That's 10th. Giants, 50.54%, number 28. And fourth down conversions, defense. Tampa Bay is at 42.86%. They're tied with Buffalo for 10th. The New York Giants are at 85.71%, putting them at number 29. All right. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They should be able to walk all over this Giants team. However, the Giants may try and keep this close because they have the defense to do so. They just lack the offensive punch. Tampa Bay wins 34-13, and I got the Bucs covering that mess at 12.5 points. All right. Off this week. Off here in week number 8 are the 5-2 Arizona Cardinals, the 1-6 Houston Texans, the 1-6 Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Washington Football Team at 2-5. Now let's take a look at the statistics for all 4 of these teams. So we'll start with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The offense averages 343 yards per game. That's 26th. They are 19th in passing yards at 246.4. 30th in rushing yards, 96.6. They average 22 points a game, which is 26th. And the average time of possession for Jacksonville is 27 minutes and 42 seconds, which is 27th. All right. The Jacksonville defense gives up 424.4 yards a game. That's number 30. They allow 281.9 passing yards per game. That's 27th. 142.6 rushing yards allowed per game. That's number 29. And 31.4 points per game. That puts them at number 28. All right. As for third down conversion offense for the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're at 46.59%, putting them at number 9. Fourth down conversions on offense, 28.57%, that's 29th. Third down conversions on defense is 43.37%, that's number 20. And fourth down conversions on defense is 75%, tied with Indianapolis for 23rd. All right, let's take a look at the Houston Texans and their numbers in the bye. They averaged 367.6 yards of total offense. That is number 17. 282.7 pass yards per game. That's number 4. 84.9 rushing yards per game. That's 31st ahead of only Chicago. And the offense averages 23.7 points a game, which is 22nd. Average time of possession is a league worst 26 minutes and 49 seconds. The Houston defense allows 417.6 yards a game, which is 29th. 251.7 passing yards a game, that's 22nd. 165.9 rushing yards allowed, that's 31st, ahead of only Dallas, and 31 points per game, putting them at number 27. Third down conversions on offense. The Houston Texans are 21st at 40.74%. Fourth down conversions on offense, they're at 66.67%. They are tied with New Orleans and Baltimore for 13th. Third down conversion defense is 48.42%. That's 23rd. And fourth down conversion defense is 77.78%, tying them with New Orleans for 25th. All right, let's take a look at the numbers on the Washington football team, starting with the offense. They're number 30 in total offense at 292.7 yards per game. 29th in passing yards, 192.6. 25th in rushing at 100.1. 30th in points scored, averaging 19 points a game. Average time of possession is 29 minutes and 33 seconds, putting them 22nd. Then you got the Washington defense, which allows 309.1 total yards per game. That's number 4. They lead the league in passing yards allowed at 185.9. Against the run, Washington is 17th at 123.3. And they allow 23.6 points a game, putting them number 11. Third down offense for Washington is 38.14%, putting them at number 27. Fourth down offense is 63.64%, which is number 16. Third down defense, 40.43%, that's 14th. And then fourth down defense is 55.56%, which puts them in a tie for 16th with both Detroit and San Francisco. And the last team we'll look at are the 5-2 Cardinals. Take a look at their numbers. They are number 2 in total yards on offense at 419.1. 15th in passing yards at 258.4. They are number 2 in rushing at 160.7 yards per game. They trail Seattle in total yards per game, and they trail Baltimore in rushing yards per game. Arizona averages 29 points a game, which is 9th. Average time of possession is 28 minutes and 39 seconds, which is 25th. Defensively, the Arizona Cardinals allow 378.4 yards per game. That's number 20. They give up 247.3 passing yards per game, which is 19th. They allow 131.1 passing yards per game. That's number 25. They allow 20.9 points a game, enough to put them in the top 10. Third down conversions offense. The Arizona Cardinals are 14th at 43.68%. Fourth down conversion offense is 85.71%. They are tied with Pittsburgh for third. Third down conversions defense. They're still one of the best. 36.78%. That is number 8. And fourth down conversions on defense is 63.64%, which is number 19. So that is part 2 of my Week 8 NFL preview, as we had just taken a look at the remaining 13 games on the Week 8 schedule. I will be back on Tuesday with my NFL review of week number 8, so be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel and ring the bell twice every time I post a new vid. This is Big Al signing off. Happy Halloween and enjoy the pigskin. Peace out.